Stay a while and listen.
Oh boy, Micah.
Today's the day.
God, man. Like, it's
rainy.
It's rainy, man.
It's cold.
It's just cold. It's just shitty out here.
Cyberpunk 2077 was delayed
again. And that's shitty on its own. I hate that it was, but can we calm the fuck down with the death threats?
Seriously,
Can
guys.
we just like that? It's just getting a little too out of control here.
One, it's a game made by real human beings who deserve patience, just like you deserve patience, viewer. Can we all just chill?
Yeah.
It's a little closer to Christmas. It'll be a little bit more festive then.
I freaking wish, man.
Yeah.
What is it with gamers and death threats? What do they think they're accomplishing here? Like earlier in the year, it was the voice actress from The Last of Us Part 2. She got death threats, and I'm sure some of their developers did as well. And now, because they delay a game for 3 weeks, and this is cause for you to threaten somebody's life?
No, it is not cause.
What the? It's really quite mind-boggling to me.
I really feel like some people just get off on being extreme and dramatic, and sometimes extremely dramatic.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely right.
I get it a little bit.
I'm literally speechless.
Yeah.
Over the stupidity.
Like,
behind
being upset
this.
is understandable because there's like so few things to look forward to. And especially as you get like deeper into adulthood, the things that you had to look forward to kind of like dwindle a little bit. So when you find something you can latch onto that's like really exciting like this, and then it gets delayed, and then it gets delayed again, and then it gets delayed again. And when we finally thought it was no possible way it could be delayed again, it gets delayed again. Like, we were joking about it. We've been joking about this for a while now, that it was going to get delayed again.
I remember that.
And look at it. Look at it happen.
I really hate it that it was delayed. Okay.
I'd rather it be perfect.
Yeah.
And
I totally
even
agree.
with it being delayed, it is not going to be perfect. Because you think about like handing a game, 500,000 hours, I think is what they said. 500,000 hours of playtesting to test everything on... I read a tweet or something that said that. That's a lot.
It's a shit ton.
But it's not, 3 million players.
No. But okay, so I understand the frustration. Let's break down this in the events, all right? They had tweeted at people, I think it was either the day before or literally the morning of.
Yeah. No way this is going to...
Yeah, saying, hey,
nope,
when people were asking them on Twitter, be like, hey, I'm asking for time off.
Yeah.
Is this not going to be delayed? And they wrote back, no more delays. And then it inevitably was. And people lost their shit. The screenshots of them saying that just went viral, just insanely fast. But I want to break this down for people because it's not the person who's running that Twitter handle's fault.
No.
At all. And I feel like, because I've worked in social media, I've worked for Inc. 5000 companies, I represent a lot of celebrities doing social media. The one thing that I can tell you is that the people who do social media are usually some of the worst treated people in the business.
Absolutely.
The people who are doing social media, they're the last to find out about this being delayed. In fact, I actually think that I saw where most of the team didn't find out until a company-wide email was sent out that day saying that it was going to. And listen, I'm not necessarily even trying to cover up here for CD Projekt Red, because they had some shit thrown at them a couple months ago where working conditions for this game were a little out of control. Now they've been pretty, from what I can tell, they've been pretty transparent, but it's no secret that right now the developers that you assholes are sending death threats to are the ones that are clocking 100-hour weeks.
Yeah.
They're I forget what tweet it was. I think it was a Forbes writer or something. Anyway, he was talking about, he had talked to some of the people on the development team or people who have friends who are on the development team. And I don't know why I'm looking at the camera and not you. I'm having the conversation with you. That's awfully rude, Ross. Sorry, I'm actually just trying to remember where I'm going with this story. But he was talking to people who knew people on the dev team, and they said that they looked physically ill.
Yeah.
So these people are clocking 100-hour work weeks. They're in the middle of a freaking pandemic, mind you.
And they're not even being paid accordingly.
They're not. And I think there's a very, very wide misconception about how much game developers actually get made. Game
developers is a really general term, but you start breaking it down into voice actors, graphic design artists, then the gameplay and the story writers, and everybody's going to get paid something different. But there are groups in there that work just as hard as everyone else, that work 75 hours a week and bring home like $31,000 a year.
Right.
Which is like, you can make that at McDonald's.
And that's nothing against the people who do bring that at McDonald's. I mean, right now, a job right now.
Absolutely.
Completely. Well, it is always too.
Yeah.
But and by the way, for the people who don't believe that these death threats, I'm just going to pull up the tweet where they actually posted it, and you haven't actually seen these yet, so this is interesting. I'll read the tweet from you. It's from @ZalAndy. He's like, "This is one of the mildest messages some of us got. There were far, far worse, and far in all caps. Every single one is being reported. We will not let it go through. Do not treat it lightly. Do not ignore it. It is serious. That said, I'm off TT for a couple of days. Take care. #Cyberpunk 2077. Now, here are the message. This is just one message, and the person sent 3 messages here. It says, I know where you live, bro. Release your game or you're finished. Release Cyberpunk or you and your family will be persecuted. I will burn you alive if you don't release the game.
Oh my God, and that's mild.
This is just, it's asinine. What are we accomplishing here? The people who are working their asses off, the people who have spent the last several years of their life working on this project, and you're treating them like shit.
Yeah.
It just...
I've had friends in the past that talked like that like just blatantly disregarding the value of human life, like in video games and stuff like that, would be like, this person that killed me, I'll kill your whole family. Like shit like that. Like just, and to me, I was always like, that's really childish to go like, obviously he's not serious. He's just being like horribly dramatic, but you can't tell. Like if you don't know the person, you can't tell. And why in the world would you ever say something like that to someone you don't know over a video game?
Oh, God.
And it's not like even being frustrated in the moment by being killed by someone in a video game. Like, that's frustrating in a different way. This is like just...
What level of frustration is that, though? And I'm certainly not trying to, stand on my high horse and act all mighty and powerful.
Right.
Because I have bad thoughts, too. I'm human. But when I'm playing a game, like if I'm playing Call of Duty or something like that, and someone takes me out and I see the replay, I'm not... The first thing that comes to my mind is not, oh, my God, I hope they die in their sleep tonight. Like,
there's just some people like that, man. They're just like super dramatic, and I don't get it. It's
usually like, damn, okay, that was a good shot. Like, what happened?
That's me, man. Like when I die, I'm like, oh shit, well that sucks. Or even if it was bullshit, I'm like, wow, that's bullshit. But like,
it's just this mind-boggling attitude that some gamers have. I don't get it. And when people talk about how toxic gaming is, the whole gaming culture, this is what they point to.
Yeah. Well, there are definitely toxic parts of video games.
Yeah.
Undeniably, but humanity as a whole, it's not completely toxic, but there are some pretty damn toxic parts of it. That's just humans. Whatever you have, you're going to have a group of people in there that are pretty damn toxic, even in the like best of places, churches especially.
Churches. That's an ironic one. That's a topic for a different day.
Oh,
maybe.
very, very serious. But it's the same.
You're right.
It's the point.
You're right. You're right.
There are lots of good people in church. There are lots of good people that play video games. There's also some super toxic parts of both. It's not the whole thing.
Yeah,
but undeniably there are sections.
I haven't in a while. It's actually been the longest period of time I think that I've started running an account that I haven't got a death threat. But I used to get them all the time just for posting memes,
just opinions and memes and stuff like that.
I figured out how to deal with it. First of all, it was usually someone that felt like they were ignored in the replies or the comments or something like that. Okay. Whatever, they're gonna send whatever. But 9 out of 10 times, and by all means, I am not sticking up for anybody that's sending death threats. There is nothing. There is no joke about it. It just stop. There is nothing funny about it. However, if you play, I've learned that if I play it off as if I know they're joking, then
it diffuses the situation.
It immediately diffuses the situation.
Yeah,
because 9 out of 10 times it's just 9 out of 10 times it's just somebody who is very lonely.
Yeah.
and looking for any kind of companionship, any kind of attention whatsoever. And so when you immediately diffuse the situation, send it back a ha ha ha, or and then ask them a question, they immediately see that as now you're best friends.
Kill them with kindness.
Yes, exactly. And in this case, it works. And I haven't got a long time it's been since I've got them, but man, I remember there was one that I got. This was like 2015. This is like over 5 years ago.
Oh God, that's 5 years ago.
Right. I know, dude. It makes me sick to my stomach. But I remember it was like 5 years ago, and the person had, I'm trying to remember it off the top of my head because I don't have a screenshot of it anymore, but I did, and I sent it. I'll see if I can get one and post it. Somebody sent me a message, and it said, if I was locked in a room with you, Hitler, and bin Laden,
I'd shoot you twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a line from The Office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no. It wasn't. No, he didn't say that. That's why I recognize that from The Office. He said, okay, let me start that over because I just got excited. I was like, holy shit, have you gone through my DMs? Okay. No, that's not actually what it was at all. Okay, he said wow. He said if I was locked in a room with you, Hitler, and bin Laden, and I had a gun with one bullet, I would shoot myself in the head so I wouldn't have to listen to you talk.
Damn.
Yeah, so he took it a little bit different of a direction, but now, you're right. Now I know where that was inspired by.
Yeah,
that clever little minx.
I'm sure that was even inspired from somewhere else anyway. So
probably
it probably wasn't a Michael Scott original, but it was still funny though.
Oh God, man, Office is probably my favorite show ever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely up there with me too.
It's one of the only shows that and like South Park where I can actually go back and every time it's on, I can rewatch it and pick up right where it left off. Well, there's not a lot of shows you can do that with anymore.
A lot of our generation, which I think we're in the same generation. You're 8 years older than me. I think.
8 years.
7.
How old are you?
25.
You're 25.
Yeah.
7.
Yeah.
I'm 38.
Wait.
Just fucking with
you. I was like that. You know I'm bad at math.
Go on.
But yeah, like there are certain people in our generation who have found great comfort and solace and family and support from these weird TV shows, whether it be The Office, whether it be Friends. I have friends that have watched The Office like 20, 30, 40 times now, like the whole series just over and over again because it gives them comfort.
That's a good point. And especially nowadays, I feel like it's popular just because we need all the laughter we can get these days.
In the world that we live in, yes.
And that show was so, like, I know that humor is not for everybody.
No.
But it was kind of an original take on humor in like a sitcom. It was different. It was filmed different. Everything about it was different.
Yeah.
And that really set it apart. Man, it's
huge shout out to the other podcast that the Office Ladies did. I think it's called Office Ladies.
I think so. Yeah. I haven't listened to it yet, but I see stuff about it all the time.
My wife and I watched or listened to the first 2 seasons of it, like because we had some driving to do last year, and my goodness.
So what are they just talk? They just break down it every episode of the podcast is another episode,
right?
Okay.
Every single episode that they start at episode 1, and they just break every episode down, talk about everything that happened behind the scenes, talk about like the thought processes that went into making these episodes, and like these certain scenes that are iconic. And like the second episode was Diversity Day, and they talked about Diversity Day, which is a hilarious episode. Yeah. But at that time, and even now today, it was like almost taboo to have an episode about that. They didn't want to step on anybody's toes, but I think the way they handled it was pretty pristine.
Yeah, it's interesting because you hear all the time now that they have that Peacock network that it's always rumored that it could come back, like even if it was just like a one-time special type thing.
They talked about that, yeah.
I don't want them to, man.
I think they need to leave it the way it is.
I agree. Now, I would watch it 100%.
Oh, for sure.
I would be right there watching. I'd be excited as hell for it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's something about after a certain amount of time where it's just very difficult to continue something that was already held on such a pedestal.
Yeah. You can't really compete with things after a while. Like, I don't know if you saw or not, one of my favorite serial killer TV shows. It's funny. I don't like horror movies, but I like serial killer TV shows.
Yeah, that's kind of a red flag.
Dexter's coming back
Yes,
next year,
I saw that.
and I'm so psyched about it. And it was the weirdest thing because I don't follow stars, but I follow Bow Wow. And he retweeted it, and I was like, oh, well.
Thanks, Bow Wow.
Dexter's coming back, I guess. Thanks, Bow Wow.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was one, I never watched it, but that was one that the finale, it was like one of the most hated finales ever,
Other than Game of Thrones, yeah.
Ooh.
Season 8 of Game of Thrones, I think, was hated more than the end of Dexter.
Did you watch Game of Thrones?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Adored it.
Did you like
Worshipped it.
You didn't care for season 8?
I'm still trying not to be mad about it. I don't need that kind of negative energy,
Yeah.
but I'm mad about it. The directors of that show just took a masterpiece and crushed it.
I feel like there's more to the story that we don't know.
I'm
like,
sure
I
is.
don't, because they did such a good job handling everything up until that
It
point.
may not have even been them.
It doesn't make sense that it ended like it did.
But I keep reading stuff from the actors now that it's over, talking about them later on, talking about how they were trying to make like really stupid character changes for certain characters that would not have made sense for the show at all, had nothing to do with the books. They were just kind of shooting from the hip there towards the end. And there were several relationships that a couple of the main characters actually straight up like stood their ground and said, no, we're not making this character change. Like, my character is staying the way my character is. You're not throwing this bullshit love interest in here that has nothing to do with my character just for more, views and hoopla and whatever.
More sex scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Ooh, that's rough, man.
It's really disappointing.
Yeah. Speaking of Game of Thrones, I read we're doing Skyrim facts today.
Yeah.
You got those handy?
Oh yeah.
Let's do that because there is Game of Thrones went in there and it's
Dude,
it's really freaking intriguing.
I
man.
had no idea what that was, and the thought of the possibility that was a thing. Man.
Right.
All right. So.
Started off number one. Bethesda was approached to make a game based on George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire, from which the TV series Game of Thrones is also derived. Although they wanted to do it, they turned down the offer to focus on Skyrim, which... Ooh, man.
I'm glad that they did, because Skyrim in that world versus Skyrim in the world of Tamriel, like if they had the same like combat system and all the things that they did for that and the dragons and everything, that would have been badass.
Yeah.
That would have definitely been badass, but the lore of the Elder Scrolls is deeper and broader and more impressive and interesting to me personally than anything George R.R. Martin's done,
I still really want to see it, though.
Oh, I would love to see it. Like, if they came back and decided to do it now, I would 100% buy it.
Yeah. How would you think it would have been done in a similar style to Skyrim?
I don't know. I can't even really wrap my head around how it would have worked, especially, I mean, if it was just a game based in that world where you're just like a guy, I don't know, like...
Yeah.
I don't know how the story would have even worked, because you're important in Skyrim because you're the Dovahkiin. You're important in Oblivion because for some reason you were chosen by the Emperor to carry out this like important task or whatever. Like there's always a thing to make you important, to make your character make sense for what he can do. And I mean, I'm sure they could have come up with something, but I'm not smart enough,
What Game of Thrones games do they actually have? They have one that was it was the Telltale. Was it a Telltale game?
Yeah, they have the
Rest in
ones
peace.
that are designed like the Walking Dead games.
Yeah. Okay. So Telltale.
Yeah.
They were the yeah. I don't remember hearing much about that.
I just don't like the style, man. It's not really my kind of game.
I would, if I didn't have anything else to do, I'd love to get into that Batman one. That kind of intrigues me. It's kind of like a comic book, and I've heard it's the Walking Dead one. Didn't it win like Game of the Year?
Oh, it's good.
Yeah,
it's just not for everybody. Just the style of gameplay. It just feels really, really old. You get a lot of choices, and it's kind of like you're watching a movie, but you get to choose things as you go through it, which is cool, I guess.
Yeah, the new Walking Dead game they have coming out though looks really good.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
There's another zombie game that I keep seeing something about, but it was made by a Japanese studio, and the way they did it, it's like you're like a biker. I don't know if you saw that, but I don't know. With the next generation of consoles, they've figured out how to create like true hordes of zombies, like 500 to 1,000 zombies coming at you kind of thing.
Didn't they? Which one was the one that just? No, that one. I thought that game already just came out.
Oh, it may be out
recently.
It may be out.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, that's already out. I can't think of the title. But
the one where you're like less required to fight the zombies as much as you are to get away from them and like use your environment to.
This is gonna bug me because I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's Days Gone.
Yeah,
Days Gone.
Is that out?
I believe so. Yeah, it came out in like 2019.
Seriously?
Yeah, but see, I remember that at E3 though. I remember seeing that at E3, and I remember saying, "Wow, that looks amazing." I remember there being a lot of hype around it, but when it came out, I just don't remember there being too much hype.
I think that's the curse of E3, man. We just get these trailers that aren't realistic whatsoever. And
unfortunately,
then
that's
the
what we
games
are.
come out, and we're just
Man,
like,
I mean, that's a topic for another day because I think a lot of these conferences, these big gaming conventions, are in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
I just also remembered something else I wanted to add to the list to talk about today, but I think we should go through the rest of this.
Let's go through number 2 here.
All right, number 2, the leader of the Thieves Guild, Mercer Frey, has the same voice actor as another well-known thief, Garrett from the Thief series. Both are voiced by Stephen Russell, which is really cool because both of those games are really good.
You played Thief, I'm assuming. Yeah. Okay, see, I haven't, and I noticed because there's another one in here that's about Thief too. That's really fascinating.
Yeah, I had to add
what is the Thief series? I remember it slightly in my head, and that's about it.
Did you ever hear of Dishonored?
Yeah, I know what Dishonored.
It's similar to Dishonored. So you're kind of in like a steampunk, dystopian, British,
naturally
England 200 years ago kind of thing. And you're a thief with like special abilities. You can like turn invisible, and it's just a story-based game where you go steal shit essentially and try not to get caught. And it's really fun. It's got a really deep story and a lot more. Like I summed it up very poorly, but you're a thief, and there's an objective.
Oh, fair enough. All right, moving on.
Usually that objective is stealing things.
I assumed that. I think I would have figured that if you had given me 10 guesses, I may have gotten that one.
Number 3, I had to add just because I feel like Jonah Loeb might have hated his dad.
See, I took this the complete opposite way.
But they're so ugly.
I took this I was like, wow, what a great honor. What an amazing honor. This dude said, hey, I treasure my dad so much, I'm going to put him in a video game. And here's Micah over here. Micah's over here like, fuck this dude. I'm going to make him look like an ugly little piece of shit for everything you do to me.
Yeah, who stomps on people.
Well,
so Jonah Loeb, one of
Maybe
the 3D artists for the game, modeled the in-game giants after his father, Jim Loeb.
Right.
Or Lobe, or however the hell. Loeb makes sense. But
got it.
All right. In the dragon language, the word for steal is garat. This is a reference to Garrett, the protagonist of the Thief series. Sorry, I had to go all in on that one.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I'm really glad you did. We're going to talk about that here in a second. Finish up.
Likewise, the word tafir translates to thief. This is a reference to the invented word taffer featured in the Thief series. Don't even remember what that means, because it's been 10 years since I played this game. But, yeah.
That was some spelling bee type shit, dude.
Yeah.
That pronunciation? I'm assuming that's how they pronounce it in the game. I don't...
Yeah.
Okay.
I just I'm a sucker for phonetics and pronouncing things properly. I don't know why.
Sounds like you speak the language.
I got a little obsessed when I was a kid with Elven from Lord of the Rings. And I really
Did you learn the language?
No, I tried,
but
I couldn't.
Tried.
But with my parents that I had, I didn't really have the opportunity to get the kind of information that I needed. Well. But just reading the books and because one of my friends had the book with the alphabet in the back. I think it might have been the Silmarillion. I don't remember. Anyway, I tried to use that to sound things out and do it right and use English phonetics to get it correct, but I never got it right.
It's actually impressive. I'm fascinated by how they can invent these fake languages. Like another good example is Game of Thrones.
Well, every language is a fake language if you think about it. All of our languages are human based and human invented. So why can't we create new ones?
That's really depressing.
Yeah.
You just kind of like with my thought there.
Well, even unless you go back to the Tower of Babel, but we won't get into that.
When you go to another restaurant, do you order in their language?
No.
Have you ever?
No. I am never confident enough.
You should just go into like an Italian restaurant and just start speaking this language, but act like you're just fluent in the language, and see how weird the looks are. That
I drive my wife crazy with that. I don't remember what it's called, but I learned it as a kid. You add like a edita at every vowel in a word.
What?
Yeah. So your name would be Radagos. Radagos. Mine would be Madagaikadaga.
What is this from?
I don't know. I just learned it from some kid as a kid, and I just never forgot it. Like I can carry on a full conversation.
I thought, okay, I'm sitting here thinking like, is this something that is actually done in a language?
No,
like, is it that easy?
It's kind of like Pig Latin in a way, but all you have to do is add that "adaga" to every single vowel in a word, and yeah.
Fair enough.
And I got to the point where I could say superdupercalifragilisticexpialidocious with that.
Oh, we're gonna need it. You can't say something like that and then not.
It's gonna take me forever to sound it out, but I can. Sitagoopitigur didagoopitigur kitagalitiga fritigadjitiga litigistitiga etigexpitigi etigalitiga didago shitigus.
What the fuck? Like I was expecting you to struggle through that. You just what?
I'm sure someone out there probably knows what that's actually called because it's a thing that like some people know how to do, but I don't know how to like figure it out. Because I can't be like, "Hey Siri, what the," But sometimes when I'm talking to my wife, I just like randomly snap into talking like that, and she's like,
"Do it." Oh,
stop.
Record that sometime. Oh, we still got to get her on here. We need to get your deep dark gaming secrets out.
Oh, she'll tell you.
All right, what's up?
Number 5. By using console commands and editing the game files to disable the game's boundaries, it is possible to travel outside of Skyrim's map. Going out far enough south, it is possible to find an untextured placeholder for the white gold tower where the Imperial City should be, as well as the overall landscape of Cyrodiil around it, which I just thought was super cool because I started playing these games with Oblivion.
Right.
Some people started with Morrowind and, Daggerfall and all that. But Oblivion like blew my world away. I thought that game was the coolest thing in the world, and I was really attached to like the setting and the Imperial City and the White Gold Tower and all of that. And then Skyrim comes out, and part of me is just like,
blows your mind again.
Well, I just recognized it because they show you the whole map, and you see that Skyrim's up here and Cyrodiil's in the center, and you start the game at the edge of like at the very bottom of Skyrim, essentially, which is right at the border for Cyrodiil. And when I started playing Skyrim, I was like, oh, I know I'm going to be able to go to Cyrodiil one day in this game. And yeah, no, that never happened. But now there's Skyblivion, but I don't have a PC, so I can't play that.
Oh, well.
Because they did that modders actually connected Oblivion to Skyrim and run Oblivion.
Did they do it? I never really, it makes sense. I'm not surprised that they did that, but that's really cool.
They did it. They spliced 2 games together and completely refreshed the graphics for Oblivion.
No shit.
Yeah. So it's the same
graphics
system in Skyrim, but in Oblivion.
Wow, yeah. That's really badass. That map must have been
freaking huge, dude.
Yeah. How big do you think the next Elder Scrolls map will be? It has
Skyrim
to be.
Was
it
big.
Has to be. Skyrim was massive.
Skyrim was one. I mean, I know RDD2 is like bigger than most games, but
that's another one because that's actually the first game that came to my mind because traveling outside of the boundaries. Because in Red Dead Redemption 1, you actually had a lot to play over in Mexico. That was a big part of the story.
Yeah.
And I know they have Mexico somewhat in there because I remember there was a way I don't know if they use a mod or if there was just some kind of glitch or something where you could actually get over to that area.
Oh, really?
In Red Dead Redemption 2.
I know there's that mod thing that gives you a flying saucer. And
Yes, is that not amazing?
That's so cool.
Oh,
did you
the
see that
overhead view
video
on
of
that.
them flying like through the clouds and everything, and how
Yeah, I posted
it. Dude, that is spectacular. Oh, dude,
That's probably where you saw it. Yeah. I've posted it a couple times, man, because every time I watch it, I usually sit there and just watch it like twice. Like, oh my God, this is unreal. The attention to detail.
Yeah.
And these guys probably got death threats too.
That's why I want to get into Microsoft Flight Simulator, because
I have the computer. I can pull that off now.
Yeah.
And I really want to. But if you're doing Flight Simulator, like you have to get the gear. Like you can't mouse and keyboard
doing
that
it without a HOTAS. I mean, I used to play when I was a kid with a mouse and key on like the OG Flight Simulator games. But then one birthday, my dad got me like a $60 HOTAS for my birthday, and it changes the game. Like,
it does.
It completely changes the game.
I can't do flying games now
without a proper flight control.
that. I mean, like if it's in like GTA or something, that
right.
is what it is.
That's how I felt about Squadrons. Like I played Squadrons for a little bit, but I was like, I feel so like inept with my thumbsticks. Like I can fly airplanes in Battlefield all day long and not have any issue with it, but you play against people with a HOTAS in Squadrons, you're screwed. There's nothing you can do to fight them.
Yeah, what did you think of that? Because I know they're not adding any more content out for Squadrons. Like,
are they not?
No, I'm pretty sure like this was it.
Oh, well, that's depressing. I mean, it's good.
Is it worth the money? Because I know it's a little bit cheaper.
There's just
I could be wrong on that.
There's
don't
just
quote me on that.
not
But I'm pretty
enough
sure that's it.
content right now. There's 2 game modes.
Story of the year for gaming.
Yeah, technically 3 game modes. There's the story mode, and then there's a dogfight mode, and then there's the starship or the Imperial ship battle mode, which that's great, but we need more than that. Need more options, need more ships, need more stuff.
Yeah, that's sad. And every time I hear unfinished game now, just the Avengers game comes to my head.
Like, don't get me wrong though, the flight and the combat, it
good.
feels
It's a good
fluid. It feels fun.
Yeah.
I just feel underprepared. Like I don't feel like I can play against the people because it has skill-based matchmaking.
Oh, yeah. So you gotta be.
I demolished the first 5 or 6 games that I played. Nobody could fight me, and then I started playing against people that were cross-play on PC with HOTASes, and I couldn't even keep up with them at all. They were just like, outflying me at every single turn, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm moving on now.
Got it. You got one more?
Yep, one more. This is I remember reading this when the game came out. I just thought it was really cool. Bethesda, they've had some like rocky moments, and a lot of times, game companies can be accused of a lot of stupid shit, but a lot of these companies out there do some really cool stuff too. That being said, the NPC Eric the Slayer I don't remember where he is. I remember running across him in the game though, is named after Eric West, whose online alias was Emok the Slayer. Bethesda was so impressed with his knowledge of Oblivion that they gave him an in-depth tour of Bethesda Studios and decided to create a character based on him. Eric died of cancer in May 2011 and never got to see the release of Skyrim. The tour of Bethesda's workplace was set up by the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I just thought that
really
was
cool.
Like, how cool would that be? Like, the fact that he never got to play the game, but he got to be there as it was being finished. Because he did this in 2011, so it must have been like right before the game came out.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking.
But he got to like experience what was the future. They probably showed him a lot of that game. They probably showed him a significant portion of that game.
I'm sure.
Maybe even let him play.
He probably got the full. I'm sure. Oh yeah, I guarantee he got to play. I'm sure they gave him the full breakdown of what was going on. Bethesda's kind of notorious for that. The popular streamer Grandma Curry. Yeah, she's going to be a character in the next Elder Scrolls game.
Is she? Oh, yeah, she is. Yeah. Dude, she's awesome.
Yeah.
Watching her play through Skyrim.
She's fantastic.
Just so wholesome.
Didn't she have, didn't she actually have to sign off at Twitter, because people were like harassing her?
That sounds like.
I don't know I think I remember something like that happening, but.
That just like. Everybody ends up being a bully on the internet because they feel like there's no consequences for their words.
You're right.
And people think, you know, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Words hurt. That's bullshit.
And just going back to all this horse shit with the sending death threats to the CD Projekt Red developers. Like, these are the people that are, like I said before, that have dedicated the past several years of their life to putting together, you know, what will probably end up being a masterpiece. I don't see this being another, like, case of Anthem.
No.
But this is they're working themselves to death to get this out for you in the middle of a freaking pandemic.
Yeah.
Like,
this game could have been delayed by a whole other year just because of the pandemic.
That's what I was thinking. I actually think that it would have been maybe not this close to release, but if they would have, like, back in when they had the third one, they would basically fuck, I just lost my train of thought. So I'm getting notifications from work here. I hate when this happens.
Story of my life, your brain just goes, and then you're like, what?
Yeah, well, I'm sure there's plenty of other reasons for that right now too. But I don't even remember what I was saying. Just don't be a shitbag, essentially.
Yeah.
Don't be.
I think we were talking about delaying.
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm back. Welcome back, Ross. All right. If they would have back in July after the third delay, if they would have said, okay, we're just going to delay this another year, even if at that point they said they're going to delay this to November, I think that would have been more well accepted by the gaming community than what a 3-week delay announcement is.
Yeah.
Just because it feels like we have more compassion if they come out and say, hey, like, guys, obviously COVID, we're having to work from home. We're not going to be able to get this out in time. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
You got to be patient with this. We're going to take another year.
Right.
I think people would have been okay with it.
I absolutely agree.
And I think they deserve the same amount of respect now because it's a lot of it's for the same reasons. The main reason that they're delaying this is because they want to make sure that current gen consoles are up to date. They put together this huge ass game.
Yeah.
And
they could have done what all these other big game developers do and just be like, oh, there's a 27 gigabyte day one patch.
Yeah.
But no, they were like, all right, we're just gonna hold off and make sure this shit's perfect.
Yeah. And
I applaud them for doing that. I really would have understood it though if they had come back in like April or May and it's been like, sorry guys, I know we said this a billion times, but we need another year.
Yeah. It's
even if they had pushed it to like March of 2021, I would have been.
Listen, I would have been totally cool with it no matter what. I mean, we're in the middle of a freaking pandemic.
Yeah.
Like, we should be pretty understanding about this right now.
We're in wave 3 now.
Yeah, and it's not going away anytime soon. The fact that they've been able to get it out at this speed should be impressive to everyone, considering the massive size of what this is going to be.
But nope.
And like I said, the whole reason they're doing it is because, like you said, they had testers.
Yeah.
They have all these testers, and they come back and they're like, hey, you know, we're testing this on current gen. Couple little hiccups here that maybe need to be addressed.
Right.
And so they want to make sure that when that game releases, that it's not just the rare amount of people who have the chance to get a next-gen console that get an opportunity to play the game as it's supposed to be played.
Yeah.
They want to make sure that the other 90% of people who buy this game the first time on current gen get the exact same experience as the people on next gen. And like, I don't understand why death threats are the answer to this. I don't understand why anger is the answer to this.
Malice and hatred.
This is what we want from a company. Yeah. We want them to do good things. We don't want a shitty product to come out. It's just get over yourself.
Hey, just Twitter, be nice.
Yeah, they're not going to listen, man.
I know. They're not. But still be nice.
Yeah. By the way, the contest, the giveaway for the next-gen console, buddy Brent, who's doing stuff over on our Facebook and Instagram, he's putting this together. I trust to do with my life. Go sign up because you may get a chance to win a next-gen console, which is really fucking cool.
Can I sign up?
That may be a conflict of interest, but yeah, it's actually done really cool. It's I've worked with Brent on with another gaming company that I worked at, and he was the master at putting these things together. They're called Gleam campaigns. And it's like you get a certain amount of points for doing a certain amount of things, like following the accounts and stuff like that. And then it actually randomly chooses for you.
Oh, nice.
Like it has like a random generator. So we don't actually even have control over who wins. And,
Okay.
Well, I don't. This is Brent's saying, but
Yeah.
that's go sign up for that. The link is in the bio. It's a really cool opportunity.
Well, if anyone finds anywhere where to pre-order one,
Man,
hit me in my DM because I'm on the prowl.
I am too, man. I've got the Amazon alerts set up for
I have
the PlayStation.
I have
but
all of the alerts.
But man, we may not get any more pre-sale orders. Like they're like the comments that I don't know whoever's in charge of this at Sony, like the demand is so much higher than what they anticipated. The PlayStation 5 in the first 12 hours that it was available to pre-order sold more copies than what PlayStation 4 did in the first 12 weeks.
Oh god.
So like that's the amount of demand that they have to try and keep up with. And it didn't help that
And then
Walmart
Xbox makes a refrigerator.
they quite literally made that refrigerator. If you haven't looked that up, go look it up. That's
Help me
freaking
find
awesome.
an Xbox.
All right, we're getting out of here.